Hello everyone, welcome to Tactica Imperialis and to today's video. Today is going to be another my thoughts on, and I wanted to talk today about the Warhammer 40,000 starter boxes that were revealed at the start of last week. The way my upload schedule works means things that happen on Mondays don't get talked about for a while, sorry about that. But I wanted to talk about these starter boxes because they mark a very interesting shift in how GW is doing their starter sets, and with Indomitus now being no longer available, the made to order period ended last week, it will be interesting to see how they approach box games going forward. So I wanted to talk about that at a bit of length. So what I'm talking about primarily is these three starter sets that have been revealed for Warhammer 40,000, the Recruit, Elite, and Command editions of the starter sets. So this is kind of following the 8th edition model, where 8th edition had Dark Imperium, it had No Fear, which was a slightly smaller box, and it had another box, I think, that was slightly in between the two, or maybe slightly smaller than No Fear. But they've experimented before with the idea of different size starter boxes. But unlike this time, where we had Indomitus as a big box for a short run, and then these replaced it, we had Dark Imperium the entire time, and No Fear was slightly smaller. We've got more options now, but the big box is gone. But what do these boxes actually contain, just to get an idea of what you're getting for your money? Not that we know the price at this exact time, to my knowledge. Well, the Recruit Edition is very similar to what you'd get in a sort of kill team skirmish type box. You get 5 Assault Intercessors, a Primaris Lieutenant, the Royal Warden, the 10 Necron Warriors, and 3 Canoptek Scarabs. So you get essentially half the troops from the starter box and the second tier of hero, not the like Chaplain, Justiciar, or Cryptek, but sort of the Lieutenant hero, the Primaris Lieutenant and the Royal Warden. You also get a bit of dice, some measuring stuff, some transfers for the Space Marines, a little gaming mat, dimensions I cannot tell, maybe 18 by 30? 18 by, maybe 18 by 30, just looking at the 12-inch stick. Maybe it's 22 by, I'm not sure, I'd have to actually get the details out. But this is supposed to be your first initiation for the 9th edition models, and they sort of suggest it as an idea for if you're just learning the game for the first time, or if you are wanting to teach it to another hobbyist, then this is a good place to start because you don't have to commit to buying codexes, you don't have to commit to anything really, and that's very, very useful because, well, the Necron and Space Marine Codex aren't going to be out until October, so there's a 2-month gap where there is no book. So if you missed Indomitus, you don't have the rules. So this is a nice way to do it, and I think that this box in particular will be used for demonstration games at hobby stores, particularly smaller stores who don't have a lot of gaming space. The next step up is the Elite Edition. So they've expanded the transfer sheet, and they've added/replaced a couple of units. So they've added in the Primaris Outriders, the Scorpek Destroyers and their Plasma Sight, but the heroes have been replaced. So the Lieutenant is replaced by the Captain, and the Royal Warden is replaced by the Overlord, which is an interesting switch. I'm not sure why not both, because at this point I think this is kind of the mid-tier starter set, and I think you could start tinkering with the idea of multiple heroes, but then you'd have as many Space Marine units as you did heroes, so maybe not. It's interesting to see how few Space Marines you actually get in the box compared to the Necrons. Now, I'm told that Primaris Outriders are absolutely lunacy on toast, so that may explain it a little bit. But even in the Recruit Edition, you only get 5 Intercessors to deal with 10 Warriors and 3 Scarabs. It's a bit of it's probably a fair fight, but it's testament to the power of Primaris that this is the approach they think they have to take to even remotely balance, in air quotes, the box. Otherwise, the set is the same, so you get the same board, mat thing, the same little pop-up building thingamajig, a couple of measuring things, and some dice, which is nice. And then sort of the Dark Imperium equivalent is the Command Edition. So in here, it looks like you get a lot, but miniatures-wise, you actually get the same thing, because you only get the 5 Assault Intercessors, 3 Outriders, Captain, Scorpec and Plasma Sight, Scarabs, 10 Warriors, and the Overlord. It's actually the same models. What you get is a bunch of terrain. I'm not sure if they confirm which kit it is. Nope, it's brand new battlefield terrain, and it looks new, to be fair. So it's new terrain. The board apparently becomes double-sided, and most importantly of all, you get the rulebook, which obviously the rulebook is important, but this is the only way to get the shorthand rulebook. If you want to buy the big rulebook, like most of us have done, then that's one thing. But if you want just the rules, then you have to buy this box, because even if you get the chapter-approved tournament manual, that contains the basic rules, but not the advanced rules that 186 pages of rulebook will contain. So there's no small rulebook separately at the moment. The only way to get it is in here. And they've also added to the booklet, I believe it contains more missions and has sort of a little narrative thing going on in there. Other than that, it's broadly the same. And apparently these missions teach you key aspects of the game. And they also point out, of course, that you can use it to top up Indomitus if you just want more Marines or more Necrons for whatever reason. This box really interests me, and I'd be curious to get your thoughts on it in the comments as well. I know we've had a week to sit on it by the time this video comes out, but I'm very interested by the route that they're taking with this compared to certainly the last 3 boxed games. So the last 3 boxes, for those who haven't been around that long as I have, were Dark Imperium, Dark Vengeance, which lasted through 6th and 7th edition, and Assault on Black Reach from 5th edition. And in all of those boxes, you got quite a lot of miniatures. The Dark Imperium box had all new Primaris and all new Death Guard. The Dark Vengeance box introduced Chaos Chosen. It was the first place we saw the Hellbrute. The Dark Angels got, I think, a bunch of little things as well. I think there was a unique Interrogator Chaplain in there, as I recall. And Assault on Black Reach was actually a really solid army box. It had a war boss, death copters, and 20 boys as well as a squad of knobs. And the Space Marines got a tactical Marines, Terminators, and a Dreadnought, and a Captain. They got loads of stuff in those boxes. And that's been the general theme for box games since 5th edition. 4th edition, you got like a squad of Marines, some Gene Stealers, and some Termagants, as I recall. So, and some Spore Mines, now that I think about it. But since 5th edition, the starter boxes have been very, very dense. They've had a small rulebook. They would then come with a bunch of models to allow you to create a very effective starting army of about between 500 and 1,000 points, depending on optimization. I can't recall the exact cost of every unit in the 5th edition or Codex, for example, to tell you exactly what that squad cost, but I think it was in the region of 500 points. And with this box, it feels like they've gone backwards a step, in that the Army Heavy box was Indomitus, and that box is now gone. That contained no starter materials whatsoever. It was a launch box, and this starter box is actually very thin on the ground when it comes to miniatures, because it only contains a couple of different squads. It only has 1 hero per side, and the board that you're supposed to play on is a lot smaller, but it's introducing new mechanics. The idea of terrain is something that a starter box hasn't played with since 4th edition and Battle for Macragge, which, as I said, was like 2 squads of stuff, particularly if you're a Space Marine player. So they're playing with a broader set of mechanics with a smaller set of units in the box, which I think is an interesting change. The only question I have really is, how much is it going to cost? At the time of recording, we haven't got any idea of a price point. I would suspect that this Command Edition box will be in the region of £90 UK, which I personally feel is a tad... Actually, I look at it, the more I look at it, the more I think that's fair. Because you've got the rulebook, well, a shorter version of the rulebook that you'd probably pay 20 quid for on its own. You've got two 15 to 25 quid heroes, a biker squad that's probably going to cost 30 quid on their own. The warriors are going to cost 30 quid, the scorpex are going to cost 35 quid, and the terrain, goodness knows, because it's brand new. So it's actually, I think £90 is a good price point for that box. If it gets into three figures, UK, I think they're overcharging. Because Indomitus, remember, was 125, and think of all the stuff you got in there. You got twice as many warriors, twice as many scarabs, twice as many intercessors, 7 times more heroes, it felt like, as well as other units like the Canoptech Reassembler, or Disassembler, I forget what its name is now. But it's interesting. And I like the idea of playing with multiple mechanics and introducing the idea of terrain as an integral part of the game, but they've done it at the expense of model density. So it is much more of a starter set than a, if you play this army, you should buy this set, like Dark Imperium, a Dark Vengeance, and Assault on Black Reach were. So, yeah, I'm not sure what to make of it. I think, Okay, in summary then, the idea is good. Having different tiers of starter box for teaching the game for the first time to new players, to sort of getting a few mechanics involved, introducing more powerful units and aura effects, and new different unit mechanics, such as like bikers, and then expanding that with introducing terrain as a fundamental aspect of the game is a good idea in theory. And obviously we'll have to watch the sales, but I have a feeling that particularly the Elite Edition, this middle tier box, will sell well because of the fact that it comes with Outriders, some more Assault Intercessors, and the basic Necron troops. I don't know if people will go for the Command Edition unless they don't want the rulebook's lore and Crusade and all the other mechanics that come with the big rulebook. I don't know how well Command Edition will sell because its unique selling point is we added some terrain and we gave you a short version of the rulebook that you probably already own. Obviously, for new players, that's different, but something to keep in mind. And that is broadly my thoughts on the new 40k starter sets. I think they're a good idea with some nice units, a good selection of units from the Indomitus box. I think keeping Blade Guard and the Canoptech out of it was probably a good idea. I think that they should represent good value if they price them correctly, and I like the idea of this multiple tier system with escalating mechanics as we go on. I just wonder about the value of particularly the Command Edition, whose unique selling point is we gave you some free terrain. But anyway, that's just my opinion. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below. Do you approve of this system? Would you rather have just had a slightly smaller version of Indomitus and that be the starter box, end of discussion? Or are you sort of more on the 8th edition line where we had one big box and then a smaller box afterwards? Do you not think we need the tier system? I'm just curious to get your thoughts on this, and especially now that we've had a week of this news by the time this video comes out. Hopefully we should have had a bit of time to collect our thoughts rather than just be in a land of hot takes. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. This has been Tactica Imperialis, and this has been my thoughts on the new Warhammer 40,000 starter sets. I'll see you all again. Bye for now.